Good morning, and thank you for joining us for SBB Live. I am your host and the publisher of Seniors Blue Book, Amanda Barton, and I am beyond delighted today to bring on a good friend of mine, Samantha Tasler with CapTel. How are you this morning?
I'm good, Amanda. How are you?
Great, great. I'm really excited to bring this education out to our seniors and adult children that are probably a little frustrated when they're talking to their parents. They certainly can't see them right now, so this telephone could really come in handy. So talk to us about what a closed caption telephone is.
So, CapTel itself actually stands for caption telephone. And what a closed caption telephone is it is an amplified telephone that just so happens to have a screen that prints out what someone is saying to you during a conversation. So that's what makes a closed caption telephone a little different than a regular amplified phone.
Fantastic. And I've seen this device in action, and I think it's extremely very cool. You know, the technology has changed the way that we do things for sure, especially during this time. So how do you get the closed caption telephone in your home at no cost?
So these phones are provided for no cost if someone has a hearing loss. And we actually have certificates, and these can also be found online. And what these are is we provide these, and at the bottom, it can be signed by a doctor, a physician, a hearing care provider, an ear, nose, and throat provider, anyone who can tell us that you have any sort of hearing loss. It doesn't matter how much or how little, but we are funded by the federal government, so that's why we require some sort of signature from a medical professional, and that's how we're able to provide it for no cost.
Fantastic. And you addressed one of the questions that I had for you. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit of hearing loss or a lot, you still qualify for it as long as you get that signed off by your physician, correct?
Correct. It doesn't matter how much or how little, because we understand that even if you have what some consider a minimal hearing loss, you're still missing out on parts of conversation.
Perfect. So what other things are required to make the phone work?
So in order for our phone to work in your home, we do require a couple of things. One, we do require internet access, and we also require either a landline or a Bluetooth compatible cell phone. And the Bluetooth with the compatible cell phone works similar to Bluetooth in your car. When you're in the area, it connects to it, and you can choose to answer either your cell phone or the CapTel. And with landline, you just answer it like a traditional landline phone.
Perfect. Also, I have we here in Florida, we have quite a few people that go back and forth. Is Florida the only state that you provide this service?
No, we are actually providing this service all over the US, including Hawaii. And right now, because of what's currently going on, while we're not going inside people's homes at the moment to protect both you and ourselves, right now we are shipping the phones. So we can ship anywhere in the US, regardless of your location.
Perfect. And for those people that do go back and forth, are they able to take their phones with them, or do you recommend that they have a phone in each location?
Absolutely. It really depends. We like to suggest you take it back and forth because that is your personal phone. But if you're unable to do so for whatever reason, you can have a phone, for example, in Florida, and you can also have a phone in another place that you reside. Just like I said, if you can, we like you to take your phone that we gave to you, but there's always options to make it work for you.
Perfect. And a couple of other things. I love hearing your story about how you got into this. So if you could share that with our viewers, and then just kind of conclude by telling me a story, because I love hearing your stories tell me a story about a client that you helped that really warmed your heart.
Well, my first story and how I got into this was my grandmother owned her own hearing aid business for a couple decades down in Florida. And really, just ever since I was younger, I've always been around the hard of hearing community, and it's always just kind of been my passion to help others. And I really learned from a young age what it's like to see people miss out on conversation and even birds chirping and things like that. So that's what inspires me every day and makes me want to do what I do. And another good story that I like to share is one time I had a customer when we were installing phones in people's homes, and he had not talked on the phone in about a decade. His wife was the one to always answer the phone calls. And when we install the phones, we like to do something called a test phone call, where we will step out of the home and call you and kind of go over things with you and make sure everything's functioning properly. And this gentleman, when we did our test phone call, he kept me on the phone for about 20 minutes. And when I came back inside, he was just so overwhelmed with emotion, and I did too. It was very exciting for both of us. So that's another reason why I do what I do and what keeps us going.
Lots of happy tears at that moment, I'm sure. I love hearing these stories, and I think it's just amazing what brought you into this is a true passion and a true calling. So I just want to thank you so much for what you do in the community, and I want to thank you for coming on SBB Live this morning, Samantha.
Of course. Thank you